Hi everyone, my name is Wesley, a second-year PhD student at CMHCII. Today, I'm presenting my work on understanding practices, challenges, and opportunities for user-engaged algorithm auditing in industry practice. In recent years, algorithm audits have risen to prominence as an approach to uncover problematic behaviors in algorithmic systems, including different types of biases and harms. So at a high level, algorithm audit is a method of repeatedly querying an algorithm and observing its output to draw conclusions about the algorithm's opaque inner workings and possible external impact. For example, Gender Shades is an impactful algorithm audit project that surfaced harmful biases exhibited in facial recognition system developed by several major companies. Today, algorithm audits are typically conducted by a small group of experts, such as industry practitioners, researchers, and activists. Although expert-led approaches have been highly impactful, they often suffer from major blind spots and fail to detect critical issues. For example, expert-led audits can fail when those conducting the audit lack the relevant cultural knowledge and the experience to recognize and know where to look for certain kinds of harmful algorithm behaviors. To overcome limitations of current algorithm auditing techniques, researchers in HCI and AI have begun to explore the potential of more user-engaged approaches to algorithm testing and auditing, which directly engage users in surfacing harmful algorithm behaviors. In parallel to these research efforts, a lot of major tech companies have also begun to experiment with approaches that directly engage users in testing and auditing their AI systems. For example, in 2021, Twitter introduced its first algorithmic bias bounty challenge to engage users in identifying harmful biases in its image cropping algorithm. More recently, inspired by Twitter's algorithmic bias bounty, OpenAI initiated a feedback contest to encourage users to provide feedback on problematic model outputs during their interactions with ChatGPT. Despite growing interest from industry, there remains a gulf between the academic research literature on user-engaged auditing and current industry practice. Specifically, what are AI practitioners' current motivations and practices around user engagement in auditing their AI products and services? Second, what opportunities and challenges do practitioners envision for user-engaged approaches to better support their algorithm auditing efforts? To investigate, we conducted a two-stage study with 12 industry practitioners from 9 technical companies who already experimented with engaging users in testing and auditing their AI systems. Overall, practitioners came from diverse backgrounds and worked on a wide range of AI product services, as well as diverse experience with user-engaged auditing. We first conducted semi-structured interviews with directed storytelling to understand practitioners' prior experience on whether, why, and how they engage users in AI testing and auditing, and the challenges they encountered in the processes. To further probe the opportunities and challenges in supporting user-engaged algorithm auditing in industry practice, we then engaged participants in a co-design activity in which we iteratively designed 3 artifacts. First, a user-engaged audit report representing a wish list of types of information that they would ideally want to solicit through a user-engaged auditing process. 2, user-engaged auditing pipeline, 1 developer-led pipeline in which the audits were primarily initiated and coordinated by lead AI developers, and 1 user-led pipeline in which the audits were primarily initiated and coordinated by users themselves. Notice that we use this design not as final products, but as design props to investigate more deeply on practitioners' challenges and desires through a iterative co-design process. Through a thematic analysis, our work surfaced multiple interesting findings, including practitioners' motivations for engaging users, their current practice in user-engaged AI testing and auditing, the challenges and needs around user engagement, and also a complex relationship between industry AI practitioners and everyday users. To start with, practitioners shared a range of motivations and current practices around user-engaged algorithm audits, including understanding users' subjective experience, bringing their evidence from users to advocate for fairness work, and also overcoming AI developers' blind spots. In addition, we found that user engagement in current AI testing and auditing varied in scale, from user studies and focus groups with small group of users to engaging a larger number of users in auditing process through repurposing crowdsourcing tools and also build in situ user feedback features that are seamlessly integrated into their AI systems user interfaces. Though practitioners attempted to adopt traditional crowdsourcing and user feedback system, our findings reveal a set of challenges and design implications for user engagement in algorithm auditing that go beyond standard considerations for crowdsourcing or user feedback systems. In this talk, I will share only a subset of these challenges. To start with, crowdsourcing approaches used to support AI practice typically focus more on what crowd workers do and less on who they are. However, the who factors that encompass users' intersectional identities and lived experience play critical roles in user-engaged auditing. To this end, participants share challenges around recruiting and incentivizing the right group of auditors with relevant cultural backgrounds, lived experience, and perspectives. P7 shared their struggle around identifying the right level of identity intersectionality of users to look at when they were conducting image search. Furthermore, traditional crowdsourcing and user evaluation typically start with well-defined goals and anticipated outcomes set up by the requesters on the product team. However, effective user engaged algorithm audits should empower users to take the lead in directing auditing efforts and in navigating inherent ambiguities in auditing tasks and outcomes. Indeed, our participants shared the challenges around guiding users towards productive auditing strategies without overly biasing them to avoid the confirmation biases that the user-engaged auditing were meant to overcome. Finally, traditional crowdsourcing and human computation pipelines often rely on aggregating majority vote from the crowd to conduct analysis and evaluation. However, unlike in the conventional crowdsourcing approaches, empowering minority voices and understanding the perspective of outliers may often be more important than understanding the majority view. To this end, practitioners desire ways to derive actionable insights from user-engaged auditing through appropriate aggregation and interpretation. Last but not least, our paper uncovered a complex relationship between user auditors and industry practitioners working on responsible AI, suggesting both opportunities and risks of user engagement. For practitioners who are experimenting with user engagement in AI testing and auditing, their organization were often afraid that engaging users might lead to potential PR risk. As PH shared, what if user-engaged auditing destroy the company's reputation? Profit-driven companies are often motivated to amplify certain user voices over others. However, for users, auditing is often seen as a form of activism. Though user-engaged audits can empower users through the ability to directly connect with industry practitioners to identify issues together, it cannot guarantee that companies are actually held accountable for addressing the issues that user auditors uncover. Our paper raised these future questions. How might we enable potential mutual trust and effectively collaboration given the asymmetric power dynamic between industry practitioners and user auditors? In addition, how might we mitigate the potential risk and burden towards everyday users when practicing user engagement in AI testing and auditing? And that's it. Thank you for listening.